Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And I'm Rhian Holmes.
Oh.
Let me finish.
Well, we should let her finish because she's finishing her 3 picks.
I am indeed.
These are, we are in the middle of Rhian's 3 picks. And something I've just realised, you should have gone the whole hog with your 3 picks. Your 3 picks should have had a theme. Because apart from Perks of Being a Wallflower, these are movies that have birthed musicals.
That is very true. Maybe they should make a Perks musical. I can figure that
Maybe.
Rhian, why don't you tell us about your 3rd pick?
This is Spielberg's classic Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and the incomparable Tom Hanks.
The incomparable Christopher Walken.
Welcome to Miami Mutual Bank. How may I help you?
I'd like to cash this check here, and I'd like to take you out for a steak dinner.
Are you a real life pilot?
I sure am, little lady.
The jump seat is open.
It's been a while since I've done this. Which one's the jump seat again?
Dr. Connors to the ER. Dr. Connors to the ER.
This is irrefutable evidence that the defendant is lying.
Special Agent Hanratty, FBI.
Hello, Carl.
You're gonna get caught. It's like Vegas. The house always wins.
Some nuts flying around the country posing as a pilot. Call him the James Bond of the sky.
Hello, Pusher. This is by far the best date I have ever been on.
He's a kid. That's why he doesn't have a record.
30 milligrams of codeine every 4 hours. Do you concur?
I concur.
Dr. Harris,
Yes?
do you concur?
Concur with what, sir? Ma'am, I'm sorry to have to tell you, your son is forging checks.
I have a payroll check here I'd like to cash.
I'm working part-time at the church now. Just tell me how much yours and I'll pay you back.
$1.3 million.
Will, you're on a hiatus, but this film is so good and you like it so much that you've greeted us. So, Will, why don't you tell us about how much you like Catch Me If You Can?
I love it. It's got 2 great leads, and it's just a really good story. The fact that it's based on a real story as well, I like that because that just makes it more exciting. Yeah, it's just a really, really good film.
It is thoroughly enjoyable. And also it's...
I'll be choosing 8 young ladies to be a part of Pan Am's future stewardess program.
South America, Australia, Singapore. These are so perfect, the bank doesn't even know the difference. What do you want?
To apologize.
You didn't call to apologize, did you? You have no one else to call. I'm looking for your son.
I would never give up my son. If you were a father, you'd know.
Stop chasing me.
I can't stop. It's my job.
You see these people staring at you? They keep peeking over their shoulders, wondering where you're going tonight. Where you going, Frank?
Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Don't bring around a cloud of terrain on my parade.
Sir, we're gonna let him get away.
No, Carl, you let him get away.
Nobody had a better rain on my Merry Christmas parade.
I'm getting close, huh? You will go to prison.
You're gonna have to catch me.
It's another one in the long line of movies that Tom watched as a kid where he was like, oh, why can't I be him? I think it's Ferris.
Yeah.
I think it's Frank. I don't know. I say long list.
Anyone with contempt for authority.
That is
Wears cool clothes.
That is true. Literally. Cuckoo's
Martin
Nest.
Sheen.
I love Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. Saigon. Shit. That's the first 2 words of Apocalypse Now, and it's glorious. And then he gets drunk in real life and smashes a mirror, cuts his hand, and he's just like, ugh. And then he has a real life heart attack. Apocalypse Now, great film. And he's great in this as well, as Roger Strong, which sounds like a fake porn name.
It does.
My name's Roger Strong. So they just couldn't be bothered. Like, it's Roger. Viagra. It won't make you James Bond, but it will make you Roger Moore. Right, I'm going to open up with the Tom's Big Question. I'm going to read you. This is Spielberg's 2000s. Is this the best film of Spielberg's 2000s? Okay, here we go. Okay, now, here we go. Jaws deleted scenes. That was the first thing that comes up on IMDb. AI, Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, War of the Worlds, Munich, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And then
I'm gonna go straight in and just say The Terminal because it is my favourite Spielberg. It's my favourite Tom Hanks.
You do love
He's a big fan of Tom Hanks in an airport, wasn't he? Back in the 2000s. I do love The Terminal. I watched it recently and it's very heartfelt. However, I'm going to say this. This just clinches it for me.
Yeah. For me, it's this or Munich. I think Munich's like, I guess, this film snobby choice. I remember there being a real Munich push at one point where they were like, yeah, no. And then he made Munich, and Munich's great. Yeah, Munich. Well, I mean, there's the very funny thing in, oh, God, it's one of the Apatows. I can't remember whether it's Knocked Up. It's Knocked Up. And they're all Jewish people. And they're talking about how Munich just, Eric Banner's just kicking ass and taking names. And he's killing all these Jew haters. It's a great comedic scene. And Munich is a great film. But for me, it's Catch Me If You Can. I think if you go on, Will, if you put your personal, some might say, bizarre love for The Terminal aside, is Catch Me If You Can the best of those films?
Oh yeah, if you ignore The Terminal, that's the second best. Yeah.
Oh wait, if you ignore The Terminal, it's the second best.
Yeah, Munich's the best.
Munich's yeah. And then his 2010s. Spielberg's. Is this our first Spielberg film?
Oh, it can't be.
Surely not.
No, it is.
Also, that brings me to a good point. This film would have been a lot different if Frank was just a bit ugly.
I looked at some pictures, and he looks a bit like Carl Bernstein. So basically, he looks like Dustin Hoffman in All the President's Men. He's not like Drop Dead Ugly. Yeah, he's not like Drop Dead Ugly. But no, because charm as well. You need charm.
I suppose, but like they really harp on about how he charmed his way. But you need a little bit of visuals to back that up.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I just think of Anne Bancroft. I think Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft's love through the years has really put me in a bad position when it comes to making relationships of my own. Because I think of little Mel Brooks, and he's like, "Hey Anne, I'm gonna marry you," and then they do get married. Not that I've yelled at a woman across a thing. I'm gonna marry you.
Maybe that's your problem. Gotta try everything.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll say, "Hey, you want to marry me? You look like Anne Bancroft. Who's she?" Oh well. 10-minute stretch. The pilot, becoming a pilot, having sex with God damn it, what's her name?
Ellen Pompeo.
Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy. Yes. Are you a Grey's Anatomy fan, right?
I'm a big Grey's Anatomy fan.
Yes. No, my mother and sister love Grey's Anatomy. So I've seen fits and starts.
A couple years ago, I was on the cover of 17.
Yeah. You're that model, right? Cheryl. You guys used to put your picture on their lockers.
Isn't that your silver car I saw parked out front?
Yeah. One of them. So, think I could get an autograph?
Do you have a pen in your room?
This
Man like you can buy anything he wants. He buys a deck of cards at the hotel gift shop.
Why, you want to see a card trick?
How much do these cards cost?
55 cents, I think.
And if they sold me downstairs at the hotel gift shop, how much would you pay?
I'm sorry. How much would I pay for what?
First meeting Hanks, and pulling just an incredible con. And also I love that he's not fully, well, I know he is fully into it, but he's not fully, like when he anxiously drinks the water. And he's like, no, please don't catch me in this. Rhian, before I keep going, are there any ones that are coming to mind to you straight away?
The hotel scene was my big one. I liked when he studies to be a doctor and he's watching all the medical dramas, and just the brilliant moment of, do you concur?
And then I love that the guy goes, I blew it. I should have concurred.
I should have concurred. Also, the end, not the end, but finding Frank in France, where he's like, catch me. And just the point where he gets to the door and he says, they're going to kill you. And he turns back and he's like, is that the truth?
I'll get to that and change, I guess. Let's stay positive for the moment. Let's talk about wonderful Amy Adams.
Yes.
Hey.
Amy, what a woman. Should have won 2 Oscars by now at least.
Oh, God, yeah.
But this is her big sort of, oh, wait, no, she can do this. And she's hilarious. She breaks your heart. She's wonderful. I think that's probably my favorite stretch, is falling in love with Brenda. And he is in love with her, isn't he? He is fully in love with her. There's no... You've got wandering eyes, Rhian. Do you not think he's in love with her?
I mean, I've thought about this a lot. I think he like entertains the idea of having a real life with her for a moment, and then he's like, no, I can't do it. But I think because the moment when he proposes, you're thinking, is he just doing this for her, or is he actually like, is this just another piece of the puzzle, like another role to assume kind of thing?
I think he's doing it for her because he, at that point, well, no, she does say he's a lawyer. And that's the point where he engages. What do you think, Will? What are you thinking?
I was just going to say, this brings me on to another one of my favourite 10-minute stretches, which is the whole engagement party crash.
Oh, yeah.
He's so close, out the window. And then the whole, meet me here, she's waiting, we've got him. No, and then we've got the whole, he goes around to the schools, he recruits all of the, and then that's it. I like that.
And Come Fly With Me is incredible, yeah.
It is.
It needs, I do love that Brenda moment of she just has no idea. And all she wants to know is his real name. And then the moment at the airport, as you say, of him watching and slowly clocking. And she doesn't get the Ashley Judd moment in Heat or Michelle Monaghan in The Town, where she gets to, like Ashley Judd just goes, no. And she like gives a sign to Val Kilmer and it's like, no, they're here. Amy and Brenda don't get to do that, I guess. Which I think is obviously, I mean, she doesn't know he's there, maybe. And he already realizes by that point. But yeah, no, the Come Fly With Me. And that's really the final joyous moment of the film, is the Come Fly With Me.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess I'll cede this now For me, it really loses its way in its final 25 minutes. I know it's all needed, and I know that that's the end, and that has to be the end. But I just think, and I don't really think the movie needs to be longer, but I think it's a real harsh jump.
Yeah, I mean, the Brenda stuff was one of the few things that they didn't take from real life.
She was an amalgamation, yeah. There's lots of amalgamating in this.
But you know, he was never engaged or anything like that. So they kind of had to take a step back from the romanticism and then like start reeling off the factual events. So I guess that kind of aids the jump part.
Then again, Tom, I think that in that last 25 minutes, the confrontation where Tom Hanks follows him to the airport and they have that one last, and he's like, right, I'm putting it on the plate for you there. That is perfect, and it needs that. And so I guess that sort of the 10 minutes, 15 minutes before that's just building you up for that. So now we know that turning point, but that is very important.
I think if anything, it needs 5 minutes of him alone and depressed in France.
I'm not so sure.
Because we go straight from Come Fly With Me, which arguably is the biggest woohoo moment.
Yeah.
And then it's, he's going mad. He's going wild. He's gone to Egypt, Europe. Maybe continue maybe have an around the world montage. Have a happy around the world montage, and then 5 minutes of, this is pretty shit now. I'm making money, but I've no one to spend it on. I don't care myself. I don't know. I think it's because Goodfellas, it's got that Goodfellas rise and fall structure, obviously. And even Wolf of Wall Street. And Wolf of Wall, I just think those movies let it breathe a lot more. And they, we get more of a descent. This really is slapdash. Where am I? Go on.
I think like there are moments throughout that kind of allude to his unhappiness. The whole meeting with his dad where he's like, just tell me to stop is a big one. Whereas towards the end, it's like we're following Hanratty's perspective. So he's like he's waiting to bust this big glamorous operation once again, and then he just sees like this stressed out little boy, and it's like he's the only person that sees that side of him.
Yes, this is true. I mean, it's got that. I think that's Leo's worst scene, and I think it's Hank's best scene.
I can't agree with that.
Really struck me this time. I was like, oh no, Leo, I think Leo's bad here. I think he's playing the kid thing very well, but maybe it's the dialogue as well and the way that the scene's been set up to have him sort of be half blasé. I just think he's going, this is my Oscar moment.
What about when he gets to his mother's house?
That's fine. Yeah, that as well. I don't know how that child doesn't go, ah!
Yeah.
She's so chill. I also really like the real Frank Abagnale Jr.'s cameo at the end. He's one of the French police that puts him over the car.
They should have got him to say a line and then reveal that he can't speak French. It's like,
well,
you are getting in the car.
It'll come off like your Spanish accent.
Hola. Welcome to Berlin.
Well, apparently he didn't want to be in it. So that was like the most they could get out of him.
Yes. They wanted him to play Carl.
Could have been really corny, and he puts me against the kid. I've been here before, kid. You don't want to do the same.
I feel like the Django scene, and it's like, what's your name? Frank Abagnale Jr. It's like, how do you spell that? And he goes, Abagnale. I know. And then, or he's in prison, and it's like, you don't know what it's like to be in here. And he goes, yes, I do. And he walks away.
And he looks into the camera.
Or he's in like the cell next door, and he's like, tell me about it, kid.
Or it's like at the end of 127 Hours, where he swims his length, and then he gets up out of the pool, and then there's the real guy there with his wife. I remember that. Why do I remember that? The amount of shit that I have in my head.
How'd you feel if you lost your uniform first week on the job?
Relax. Pan Am's got lots of uniforms. It's going to be $164.
Great. I'll write you a check.
Sorry, no checks, no cash. You'll have to fill in your employee ID number, and then I'll bill Pan Am. I'll take it out in your next paycheck.
Even better. Dear Dad, you always told me that an honest man has nothing to fear, so I'm trying my best not to be afraid. I'm sorry I ran away, but you don't have to worry. I'm gonna get it all back now, Daddy. I promise. I'm gonna get it all back.
Are you a real-life pilot?
I sure am, little lady. What's your name?
Celine.
Celine, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
Who knows?
Maybe she's French. No.
You know what I do like? I mean, it's a true story, so I'm just, talking about a real man's death. But I love how specific and odd Christopher Walken's death is.
Oh, it's.
I mean, that's a great. Well, let's get to that now. Let's do best single minute now, because I presume that's going to be up there for people.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And then we'll do Will's favourite living or sad. But best single minute. The credits. Is this the first time we've had a credit sequence that's in best single minute? I say completely remembering when Vertigo was nominated for best single minute. So we move on. But the credits are exceptional. This is obviously our introduction to the wonderful score. Just very well designed and perfectly set up the slightly comedic, dramatic, whimsical tone that this film is going to take us on.
Have you seen the Simpsons version?
No. When's it? What's that for?
They just do one of their opening, because they always change the opening credits. They just
yes, I know that they
completely
changed the
ripped
opening credits of The Simpsons world.
Also, one of my other favourite Spielbergs, Tintin. That's
Excellent.
Very, very similar. The opening.
Well, I was hoping that Tintin was going to be in that 2000s, but it's not. It's 2011. I was like, that might be an actual serious conversation.
Yeah,
but no, it's The Terminal. I have here credits. Being a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
Great. And then being on the plane at the end, the bar, the 2 meetings with Chris Walken, and the 2 phone calls on Christmas Eve. They're the sort of like posts throughout the film that really set us up. Both completely fictional. He never ran the Christmas Eve because he didn't want to get caught, and he never met with his dad after he left.
I also like To the Moon. I would get that tattooed on my body.
Is that really the moon quote you'd have tattooed on your body? Would you not have your previous episode with us? What do you want, Barry? Not a moon round.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the imagery, you can say it's for so many different.
Would you have the image that Mary draws of the George cartoon lassoing the moon?
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
I'd have Ben Kingsley and Hugo.
Tattooed on your body.
Yeah.
I'd have what's a really funny niche reference I can make? I'm going to make a niche reference from a random Blu-ray that I'm going to pick. Oh, that's not funny. I'm not going to change this one. This is going to be it. People don't know that one. This is going to be the one. It's going to be a random DVD. Right, this is going to be it. I'm going to have tattooed on my body. Oh, God. A no smoking sign from the wonderful film Thank You for Smoking. Very underrated. Aaron Eckhart. William H. Macy. God, how funny would that have been if it was a better film?
Had 3 tries as well.
It didn't go well at all. Which moves us into what's the change? Rhian, you may have picked this as one of your 3, but do you have any changes?
I mean, I would just like a proper end for Brenda, really. I want to see how she goes to live her life. Even just like the illusion to her having something to do beyond it. Because, I mean, she's just got she just got back into her family situation she was cast out of. And so I don't know what that means for her, whether she would like be outcast again, or whether she'd just be consigned to being an old maid, which, as we've learned from A Wonderful Life, is the worst thing that can happen to a woman.
Where is she? She's at the library. She's closing out the library. I don't think you can. I think it's very nice, and I want more for Brenda too. # Brenda deserved better. But I just don't think you can. I think there's not a single scene in this film that isn't with Tom Hanks, and it isn't all with Leo. And I think that's what you need.
It was a necessary choice, but wishful thinking. If anything, I would just want to know what happened to her.
And that's what the song I had to listen to is, isn't it?
Yes. So that is her final farewell.
Her big number.
I don't think you ever see her again. Which makes sense because she's fictional.
This is true. Will, do you have any changes?
The only thing I can think of is just a Will thing.
Okay.
When he's frantically packing all the money away and jumping out the window, it's just a bit messy.
It is messy.
Like there's
It's
money
so messy.
everywhere. I'm like, put it in the.
Why is that money not in elastic bands?
I know.
I actually had the same thought about the French press where he's gathering up all the checks. He takes a big scoop and it's so messy, and then the next shot they're in a really thick wad, and I'm like, that was not how many you managed to pick up before.
And then he drops them anyway.
Yeah.
Especially when he's so organised, when he manages to get away. Oh, I got to take this evidence downstairs, and he's like, maybe it's because he's not under pressure there. I've got a few actually. Just a general one for the real world. Why aren't checks more of a bigger thing in the real world? I love a check. There was a whole SNL sketch about how great checks are, and I was like, yeah, checks are great.
Well, maybe they were in the 60s.
Yeah, I think I want to live without all of the murdering. I think I'd love to live the world of Tom Ripley in The Talented Mr. Ripley. You know,
you would be the murderer.
Just lounging about in Italy, in 50s Italy. Obviously, my attraction. Oh, go on.
Tom being that awkward middle-aged man, only paying by check, just getting on a bus.
Can I get you a check? Can I pay my check? Oh, yeah, I like checks. I'm sure they're having incredible sex. It sounds like they are. But what about all that food? You've bought all that food and it's going to tumble to the floor. Come on. Enjoy that food afterwards.
That's just every sex scene where you have to have an image of something shaking and something falling.
Yeah, but that's a lot of food. That's nearly like Austin Powers Naked Gun level amount of food falling to the floor. That could be really fun. You're clearly working up an appetite and then have a nice meal together, lie naked. Anyway, Leo's a terrible vomiter. That was a really fake bad vomit. When he after the bicycle accident scene, when he runs to the janitor's closet, that was a really bad vomit, Leo. You're really bad. Not as good as Will. Everybody watch.
Oh, I thought you meant the plane scene, because I think that's supposed to be fake.
Oh.
But the other one is supposed to be real.
The janitor's closet, I just thought was bad, Leo. And I've talked about how it sort of loses its way in its final 25 minutes, and Leo's bad in the
me, Tom. Back to me. Did you think I am a good vomiter?
I think you're really good, and I thought, how ingenious. When you said that you needed to swallow some water to spit it in, I thought, of course. And clearly Leo's just dry heaving, and he's quite bad. He's quite bad at vomiting. Here's some taglines. Let's see which of these we like. Catch them this Christmas. No. The true story of a real fake is the main tagline, and I think is great.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Frank didn't go to flight school. Frank didn't go to medical school. Frank didn't go to law school because Frank's still in high school. That's basically Back to the Future. He was late for everything until he
went back in time.
And then we've got the German for some reason. Then we have this was the German tagline. We do have the English translation, but this is the German. Die wahre Story einen genialen Täuschung. The true story of an ingenious deception. When people talk about Germans taking the fun out of everything, I think they may be referring to the Catch Me You Can. The true story of an ingenious deception.
Tell me your name.
Brenda, we can live anywhere we want, but you have to trust me, Brenda. Do you trust me?
Yeah.
Do you love me, Brenda? You love me.
I love you.
Excuse me, Mother. Hi, this is Mr. Hanratty, my wife, Carol.
Mr.
Hanratty.
Ratty.
Have you seen Frank or Brenda?
I think they went upstairs.
Frank.
Come here. Okay, in 2 days, you're gonna meet me at Miami International Airport, all right? You're gonna leave the house after your parents go to sleep. You're gonna take a taxi cab. You give the taxi driver this money right here, and you tell him to drive all through the night. Brenda, you're gonna leave at 10 a.m. 10 a.m., all right?
I never stop.
Tom's big question. I don't know. Would he pay for sex with Jennifer Garner? He seems to be doing all right. He seems to be getting some pretty beautiful women.
That is the part I always forget, and I feel like that could be my change.
I think it needs to be Anne Bancroft. I think it needs to be an older Mrs. Robinson type woman who's clearly, she's a pro in every sense of the word. She knows what she's doing. And yes, I'm quite proud of that joke. And as we know in Basic Instinct, are you a pro? No, I'm an amateur. Incredible. Love Basic Instinct. Love Michael Douglas. Love Sharon Stone. Got that magna cum laude pussy playing on your mind. Basic Instinct, great film. Have you ever fucked on cocaine, Nick? Basic Instinct episode, I'm sure we'll eventually get around to it. But yeah, no, it needs. I just don't see him paying for sex.
Well, he doesn't. She ends up paying him.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He robs this woman.
Oh no, maybe she's paying for it. Ellen Pompeo seems to be having a good time. And the Taunts I've just put Taunts of Mr. Ripley. Just how easy was it to be a con artist in 1950s and 60s?
Yeah.
Especially
it's interesting though, because obviously with every technological advancement, there's a new type of cybercrime, because people always find the loopholes and things. So, I mean, on the whole, yeah, obviously it's much easier to commit crime in the 50s, but there's still hope.
Well, do you think, because you hear about this all the time with cybercrime, is that they end up hiring hackers? And do you think they say, "Oh, let's do Catch Me If You Can"? Let's get him in. That's what I'd say if I was in the offices.
You could have Social Network meets Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, sounds like a great. Well, we nearly had it. David Fincher was nearly going to direct this. What's that movie look like? It's a lot more depressing, I feel. It's a lot more meticulous. Rhian, this is the end of your 3 picks. You will be back. We've already recorded an episode for a year from now.
Have we?
Yeah, the Fincher stuff's. Speaking of Fincher, that's going to be
next year.
That's February 2022.
Oh boy.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
We'll be long estranged by then.
Yes, but I do think, what if I die? And this is my this, and then people start eventually watching it because it's oh, it's still with it, but it's instead of, it's like a weird version of Black Mirror where instead of them programming me to say like, I love you, goodbye, it's like, oh, I love Basic Instinct. I love Mr.
It's just film Tourette's.
Somebody edits all the time I say different quotes and they make it into, hello, my name is Thomas Carruthers. Thank you for coming to my funeral. Have you ever fucked on cocaine, Nick? Oh, sorry, we missed that one.
Well, they've got it now. They've got this footage.
Got it. There we go. They've got it now. Rhian, have you any final thoughts on Catch Me If You Can?
It's just brilliant. Well, it's tight. It's concise. It's got the right amount of like Hollywood magic without being so epic that it kind of loses you. Because most of it is true.
This is true. This is true.
It's a true story of a real fake.
The ingenious story of a real deception. Hola, welcome to Berlin. Will, any final thoughts on Catch Me If You Can? Our first Steven Spielberg movie. And another thing I've just realised, our first Tom Hanks movie?
Really? No.
No, it is.
He's one of my favourites.
Have we done
one? Milestone.
It's because we've had to do all of Tom's niche films that no one's ever heard of for the first half of this.
It's not true. I evened them out. We did Chicken Run, goddammit.
And I think the people want more Chicken Run.
Well, who knows? By this time, Chicken Run 2 may have come out.
I'm very excited. That's a film you can make in lockdown.
This is true, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to take him even longer because there's only one person like to move them. It's like you hear about them filming a 90-minute movie over 3 years. No, it's going to be like one guy. That'd be a good psychological thriller. Like,
forced to make Chicken Run 2 all on his own.
It's like, can you play back the Mel Gibson joke, please, so I know how the mouth looks? Thank you very much, Rhian.
Thank you.
Will, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know what to say.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba.